What is up, Aggie Land? We welcome you inside the TexAgs studio for episode 3 of Looch Bock. I am Gabe Bock, joined weekly by the source, Billy Liucci. We are live every Wednesday at noon, texags.com/live, and on the TexAgs YouTube channel. Looch Bock, presented by Bock Realty Group, luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment real estate, and more. BRG, happy to share with you that we are a two-time Aggie 100 company and number one in sales volume in our market in back-to-back years. Let us help you. Email me, Gabe at BockRealtyGroup.com. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage.
Wow,
something Mrs. Bock just came up with on that tagline. How about that?
So smooth with that.
How about that,
Yeah.
man? How you been, man?
I've been
You
good.
fired
Ready.
up?
I'm ready. Heading to
We've
South
made
Bend's
it.
tomorrow.
God.
South Bend is tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Starting with a little Chi-Town.
I'm gonna go
tour?
there. Gonna go
Okay.
to Chicago.
Good.
Gonna do Cubs Friday.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous.
We've got everything
Don't
from.
expound on
I've got
this.
the
I'm so
Cubs
jealous.
game. I think I'm gonna go by Barstool. Check
Of
out
course.
their
Yeah.
Chicago digs. I've never been there, so
Which
we're gonna,
it feels like that's like more the new headquarters. More
yeah.
things are happening
the
there
people
than
and the people I know, all but Casey. Everyone
Yeah.
I know at Barstool except Casey is Chicago. I probably should check with Casey because I don't know. I know. I don't want to.
Bob Chicago.
I think they've announced where they're going this weekend, but I don't know, so I don't want to say it. But it's not the game.
Yeah.
But they're actually. I think it's based. Anyway, they're going somewhere that I would actually probably go if A&M were not playing Notre Dame at Notre Dame this weekend. So I'm fired up for this one. So go do
Heck
that.
yeah, man.
Go to the Cubs Friday. Couple good dinners, and then Saturday early, head to South Bend, and then I got the little issue of trying to figure out how I'm getting back, and
Don't worry about it.
and whether or not I'm going to the Lions game Sunday in Detroit
Oh.
against the Bears.
I just hope it's an incredible weekend, the entirety of it. I mean,
Well-
we made it. It's Notre Dame week. Notre Dame week
Well,
is
you
3
know
days away
how.
from right now. I mean, how could you not be fired up?
There's one way that it lives up to it, and then some. There's only one.
No question.
There's only one path, and we have not found that path since 1979. And I'm
Which
not
is-
talking about the Smashing Pumpkins song, who you are starting to look very much like.
I've got
Billy
a little
Corgan.
Corgan look about me, don't I?
You, Corgan.
Thriller in me is a thriller in you.
And Bill Burr.
Got a little Bill Burr. You know, I kind of became a pseudo Red Sox fan this summer because we went to Fenway again. I fell back in
It'll
love
get
with
you.
it. It'll
Yeah.
get you every time. It really will. Hunter Dobbins from Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
His dad's Easton's pitching coach.
Oh,
so
wow.
we got to see Hunter. Got to see Jemai. Our man Jemai is
yeah.
the dugout reporter. So
Webster.
spent 30 minutes with Webster, which he's awesome. He's killing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for him. He was always one of the nicest.
And now Bill
people.
Burr's the biggest Red Sox fan there is outside of Stephen King. So, you know, we got that going.
Stephen King.
Yeah, I don't know. I may need to come in here with hair next week if we're going to do this Billy Corgan thing.
Well, I'm excited for Wrigley. I'm excited for Chicago.
Dude, yes.
A&M, though, hadn't won a ranked top 10 road game since 79. Believe it or not, they've only played in 3.
That's the thing. I mean, everyone's going to hammer on that.
Yeah.
Long and whoever these guys.
Yeah.
They're going to hammer on.
people.
They're going to hammer on this. Well, how many have you played true road games?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is interesting. No, I don't believe that was a Big Ten game because Penn State was independent. They were independent. So I think the last Big Ten regular season game in general was 77 against Michigan.
Well, and it's not even.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I wish A&M would schedule more Big Ten games.
I know.
And
I
you
do
know,
too.
you just wonder where it's going to go now. And it's not just an A&M thing. Like, does James Franklin in the playoff era want to do a home and home with A&M and risk that 1 year he has to come to College Station in 100-degree heat in September and then, you know, catch a tough Big Ten schedule and that draw?
Well, you know
Does he
better than
go-
anybody that it's not like we hadn't tried.
Yeah, if we didn't play that game, we would have been in the playoff. And that's how not just the Big Ten, but SEC teams are going to be like thinking that as well. Take, for example, A&M in year 1 under Mike Elko. He loses to Notre Dame, replace Notre Dame with Wake Forest, and nobody cares. And everybody's going to be griping about your strength schedule. If they beat Auburn and made that one play against Auburn, that's a 10-2 A&M team. And everybody's going to say they didn't play anybody in the non-conference. And people are going to say, well, but they played Missouri and LSU and Texas and South Carolina and Sellers, and they played in the SEC.
Yeah, the league takes care of that.
They went to the SEC title game at 10-2. A&M's in the playoff last year if they tackle Peyton Thorne and lose to Texas in the SEC title game if you replace Notre Dame with some Power 4 dog.
Yeah, so you see both sides of it for sure, but I'm really
as
glad
a fan, I want to see it.
For sure.
And as a fan, this is awesome. You're playing Notre Dame. Last year we opened up with Notre Dame. This is what it's all about. You know, I know people that still talk about their trip to South Bend 25 years ago, quarter century.
I know it.
Seems like yesterday.
Season over. That was the first game A&M played after I got to Texas A&M. Didn't make it then and not making it now.
Richard Whitaker put A&M up 7-0.
Yeah.
Mark Ferris, quarterback. That was the game, his first game. So
I feel like the Candyman had a couple returns.
Sammy Davis.
Yeah, I really do.
That
2000.
was a I forget who Notre Dame's quarterback was in that one. I know the next year they came back here, it was Carlisle Holiday, and A&M won that game. Jay Brooks blocked a punt. I think Christian Rodriguez had a big sack. So that was
he did. I remember that.
and they beat him up in that one. They beat Notre Dame up. That was like the week after the 9/11 game, or the red, white, and blue out.
That's right. Okay,
so anyway,
yeah. Well,
it's been a minute, but these are why.
Oh, no doubt.
Look, man, if you're a Texas fan, you got to go to the Big House last year. You got to go to the Horseshoe this year. I love the SEC. Sometimes with the draw, and they've been in it 15 years, we like new. We like newness. We want to see Ohio State come here.
I'd take Georgia at home at this point.
Yeah, well, we'd love to see Georgia come to Kyle Field. But so you like new and you like different. And playing Notre Dame these last 2 years has been great. And getting to go to South Bend and touchdown Jesus and play like a champion today, and you know, Newt Rockney and Rudy
Golden
and
Dome, all
Tara
of it.
Parseghian and Holtz and all of it. The Golden Dome, like beautiful time of year too. So this is good. Now guess what? Be a hell of a lot better if you win. And it is winnable. I don't care if Notre Dame came out and beat A&M by 3 touchdowns. It doesn't change the fact that the reality as we sit here today, that game is winnable. So, but Notre Dame is ranked higher for a reason, and they've been tested, and they lost a last-second game at Miami. No shame in that, especially with the first-time starter at quarterback. Tells me this is a good Notre Dame team still.
Sure. And they didn't do what they do best in that game.
And they're gonna.
And they still lost by a play.
And you know, when they watch tape, they're going to come out and they're going to say, we're going to go at A&M. We're going to test this run defense. It looked shaky as hell against UTSA. It wasn't anything that scares you against Utah State.
No, I'm glad it wasn't shaky again, though. 7 yards allowed in the first half.
They got a lot better.
Yeah.
But they gave a 30-yard run to open the third quarter.
Yep.
They're going to go at A&M, and they're going to say, Love with 9 carries. Was it against Miami?
They had 10, and Price had 6.
They're like, we're not doing that again.
No. They'll double
their number of carries
triple
might
that.
double. I don't think it'll triple. What would triple be?
10 and 6,
30
and 20
each.
and
If it goes to
10 and
that,
6.
it's a long night for the Aggies because
It'll double.
yeah, I think it'll
12
double.
and 20.
I think you have to go into it thinking you're going to double that.
Oh, yes.
And say, hey, these guys need to touch it over 30 times. This tailback position.
Yep.
And they're going to test. So, look, if you're A&M and you can't stop the run, you're going to lose Saturday. Period. Slow it down at least. You don't have to choke it off. That would be great. But you're going to lose if you can't slow down this running game. And if you slow it down and stuff it, and Marcel Reed has himself a night, and your running game, and like people around college football will think so much differently about this team and this program. And it's not even like, Gabe, we're saying, go beat peak Nick Saban dynasty. Go beat Kirby Smart and Stetson Bennett and what's my tight end's name? Brock Bowers and McConkey and that defense. Go beat Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and USC and Pete Carroll. We're not saying that.
No.
They're really good. We should not. I think some fans I talk to, something about Notre Dame, I think people don't. This is weird to say because of how we grew up. They don't view them like they did with when A&M was playing them in Cotton Bowls with Tim Brown and then Jerome Bettis, Rick Meyer, Aaron Taylor, like Lou Holtz coach. They don't view it that way. And I think, honestly, they had a bad run. And then Brian Kelly came in and really picked them up. But then they went and played for the national title. They got humiliated by Bama, that Bama team that Johnny and A&M beat. And I just think people go, that's Notre Dame.
They're back to recruiting
Marcus
that
Freeman.
level,
They have real dudes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like this is a
size and speed.
Notre Dame would contend for an SEC title this year. And they would have last year. You saw what they did to Georgia. And I know it wasn't with Carson Beck, but you saw what they did. Like the Notre Dame team could have won last year's SEC, and they certainly would contend in this year's SEC. So with all that said, it's a real hurdle in front of you. But I watched this team last year, and I watched it this year, and I watched these two teams play last year. They're not invincible. Just go ask Northern Illinois.
A guy that I guarantee was in the press box 25 years ago. Our great friend, the late great Homer Jacobs, used to say, "quote It don't get no better than this. It don't get no better than." Nobody was more grammatically focused than Homer Jacobs, but he loved using that phrase and the double negatives. And and he would say it over and over, even though many times it don't get no better than this. He would definitely have said that pregame coming up this Saturday. Because what it means is, when you look at Notre Dame's schedule, you can make strong case their two toughest games are the first two games.
They really need to win this football
What a
game.
Resume builder. If you're good. If you're bad, it doesn't matter. If you're good, what a resume builder down the street.
But even if they're not good, they could skirt through that schedule. If you look at it, I mean, they got some tests at Arkansas.
Sure, Taylor Green.
Do they not play Georgia Tech again? Or
no, but they play Pitt. You know, Eli could throw Nard Dog could shut them down a little bit, maybe potentially.
There's some potential, but I mean, that schedule.
It's just roadblocks, but
it's
nothing
light.
crazy. Yeah, USC, but at home.
So their issue is if they lose to A&M, they do not have a stumble. They can't stumble against USC, can't stumble against Holstein and Pitt and Narduzzi. They can't stumble at Arkansas in Fayetteville. You think Fayetteville's tough for teams like A&M to go play? Let them get a non-conference game against the Fighting Irish.
It's going to be crazy.
How long has it been since they've had something like that? They were fired up a few years ago when they had TCU in there, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
what about Tennessee last year? It was bananas, and they won.
And I think this is a whole nother level when it's Notre Dame. We saw it last year here, but
definitely.
I just think, Gabe, it's such an opportunity. The pressure's on Notre Dame because if they're 0-2, man, they got a long road to get to the playoff. If you're A&M and you win, you thrust yourself immediately into the playoff conversation. This is a type game where players can be made into stars. And I just, man, you look at A&M's schedule. If you win Saturday, you go into a bye week flying high, and I know they would celebrate, Sunday, Monday, whatever. But they would. I think that team would be so re-energized of like, okay, let's go, like, let's get into this. And so I think they have a great week of practice leading up to a home game against an Auburn team that played OU the week before on the road.
That helps.
Really physical OU team.
2 weeks to sit back and watch that. Everything they do.
And OU's physical as hell. Like they're gonna hit and Jackson Arnold. That's such an emotional game for him.
Exactly. How does he come off that?
So you get Auburn there, then you get Mississippi State, who looked a lot better, and actually they might come in here undefeated.
I think they might.
They might have one loss. There's a toss up in there, so I forget who it's against. But you get Mississippi State at home, who you're still on paper better than. Like you've got more talent.
And you may fire Billy.
And then you get Florida, who their games between now and then are at LSU, at Miami, and Texas at home.
Oh, yeah. We're going to buy, sell, lease them.
So my point is, man, it sets up really nicely for Texas A&M if they can get this win. And I promise you, I fully understand what a big if that is, because Notre Dame, it ain't just Love and Price. Carr's a problem. That O-line is loaded with NFL dudes. Elko said that a year ago, and it's true now.
Price is the best kid ever to come out of Denison. That's saying something.
He is. Who else? Who's the best?
Well, Reggie Hunt,
Is it
Fred
Dwayne?
Washington.
Dewan Gentry.
Dewan Gentry was
My
good.
guy.
Oh, Dewan Gentry that same year started on defense against Notre Dame here in 2000.
That's right.
Best
Safety.
backup on that game-saving catch against Cicero, that interception in the end zone.
Greg Cicero.
To end the Baylor game. Remember, they almost beat us that same year.
I forgot about Cicero.
Gentry was great. Obviously, Corey Robertson.
Did Cicero
a lot of
go
really
to
good.
Texas?
We're running back.
Was Cicero an early transfer? Did he go to Texas and then transfer to Baylor? I think he might.
That I don't remember, but somebody help us on
Look that up.
Yeah,
Greg
some
Cicero,
of you Baylor
California quarterback.
Yeah, my man Keegan Van lives locally, played football and baseball. Was a fullback on that Guy Morris team that we beat in overtime here. Starter.
From Denison?
No.
Oh, well, then how did this Keegan Van get mentioned on the show?
Because Cicero. He played over there.
You're fast and loose there.
Let me ask you this.
You're out of the show.
Notre Dame coming off the bye. I get it, and I love credit Klein for giving them a lot to think about the other day because it was balanced and everyone played, and there's a whole lot.
Well, they did a lot. They did two tights. They did a couple of. I don't know how many snaps of two back. I saw it a couple times against UTSA. They did
big two back guy.
They went from the screen and swing pad. They did a lot more two tights this past weekend than they did in the first game. They went from a lot more of the bubble sideline to sideline stuff to a lot more vertical this week down the field. It's interesting to watch kind of the build up and the setup.
Probably needed more. If you look at it, in fact, they have 2 weeks to prepare. But on the other side of the token is you're coming off a game one bye and immediately get a break, and you have a freshman quarterback, and you were pretty clunky, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. If you really ask, if they're being honest, I bet they would rather have had a game. I think a little bit momentum advantage tilted in our direction, frankly, other than the fact you got to go on the road.
I agree with you that they would rather have had a game, but here's what happens when you have a game. Trey Zune leaves the game and doesn't come back. Marcel Reed leaves the game and doesn't come back.
Sure.
They're fine. Like people wondering, like they both practiced. So all this stuff about, war, but it didn't have to be that way. They could have, and not just them, but other guys probably suffered some dings and bruises during that game. So anytime you play a football game, I don't care who it's against, they could have played a game last week and Jeremiah Love get a high ankle sprain. Then what? They could have played a game where one of their key linemen gets a concussion. Then what? So it goes both. I would rather have seen them play, even though Marcus Freeman probably would have too. I'll put it. Does that make any sense?
It does.
I would have rather been like, you guys play, get some guys dinged up also, because it doesn't typically happen in practice. Although A&M this time a year ago randomly lost a couple guys in practice. It was terrible. One being, Chappelle. You lost him for the year. That was a practice injury. So
yeah, that's rough. Well, obviously we're not going to spend very much time on Utah State, but Liucci's last look back here. It doesn't matter, Billy, if you're playing Utah State, Pate State, Northwest Tech. You play
Pate State, you might be in for a problem.
But here's the point.
You play Pate State on the wrong Saturday, I don't care who you are.
Well, they may shut you down, but if you put 554 yards on Pate State, most of that in 3 quarters, and you've got everybody off the field by the start of the fourth quarter for the most part. Craver had that fourth quarter bomb, but that's a good day. I don't care what you're doing. And I did like a lot of things we saw from the quarterback.
I've loved what we've seen from Marcel in the passing game through 2 games. I loved seeing 10 carries from Le'Veon Moss.
Yes.
Elko's doing exactly what he said. They held him back in fall camp. They brought him along slowly. 3 carries in the opener, 10 Saturday. He's ready to go in South Bend and then through SEC play. So I love seeing that as much as anything I saw Saturday.
QB Ron got cooked up a little bit before this weekend.
That's an interesting one because I don't care what you say. Like Marcel's going to be dinged up. You don't leave a game with what looked very much to me like a shoulder injury. Did not look like it wasn't his. You could tell it wasn't the throwing shoulder. But hits are going to hurt.
Yep.
And the question is, how much do you do? Because I think you have to. Marcel Reed has to run on his own. and you have to do some design stuff, or at least where he has the option to. You want to freeze those two, I think, exceptional Notre Dame defensive ends. He's a weapon. It's a potentially lethal weapon. You have to utilize it. So, I agree with you, man. They got to lean in. And Marcel's got it in his head, I can take off and run. I don't need to be timid. I do need to slide when I need to slide and get out of bounds when I need to get out of bounds. But I need to drop back, see it's covered, and go. Put the pressure on them. A&M had none of that last year in this football game, even though when he was younger, Connor was a runner. After that injury, he had gained weight. He looks so much better now at U of H just physically. He looks like he's lost 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a running threat on any level in that game last year, and now you can have a running threat at QB, and I think a really dangerous one that Freeman and that defense have to worry about.
Well, speaking of threat, just what we saw again. In every game, we're going to get more data that confirms what we thought we knew, is that the weapons on the outside are totally real. I mean, you now have to really start looking as a four-pack of receivers about the 2012 comparison, just how good they are. Now, we'll get more data, but I'm telling you right now, if you take Swope and Evans first, Evans and Swope, I'm not so sure the next four aren't the four right now. And then Easy and Kendrick.
Easy is an interesting one because he started his career so strong. Mm-hmm. And so that one's an interesting one. Don't forget your boy Gator.
Yep.
Damascus.
My boy Gator, that's right. Absolutely.
You also had,
did I have him having 100 career catches?
You're saying 2012?
Yeah.
You're leaving off one key guy.
Well, I'm leaving off Labhart.
No.
And
Labhart was more 13. Darrell was more 13.
Right.
You're leaving somebody off in there. I don't think you said him. Maybe you did. I didn't.
McNeil.
No, Malcolm Kennedy.
Yeah. He was also on the right. I mean, yeah.
He had the game winner against Bama.
No question.
And Malcolm was
deeper in 12.
To this day, Malcolm Kennedy. I always talk about Josh Reynolds as one of the most underrated receivers in A&M history.
Yep. Malcolm
underrated. Kennedy, man, he won you some SEC ball games. He had some big, Josh is still number one, but Malcolm is close in terms of underrated, I think, by the A&M family. Just some of the, did he walk? No, he didn't walk off an Arkansas game. He scored on the first play of overtime. They got a defensive stop.
Yep. Think about the Auburn game. He was a grown man. The last time we got ranked to win on the road at all.
Yeah.
2014. Yeah. What's that team like without Josh Reynolds?
Yeah, Josh.
Without Malcolm.
Both of them.
14.
Yeah. So, anywho, this unit, as we start to see more of Ashton Bethel Roman and Bussy, which you saw a little more of both of them this week.
Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be a nice 1-4. And who knows? They might start working TK Norman in eventually. And you've got Nyblack, who's kind of an in-between. I wish he would have come down with that pass early in the game. I think, was it second quarter? He had him on a corner route. Could have been a nice touchdown grab to, really get him going. So
I love that crossing route in the end zone to KC in double coverage. Could you have a better throw than that?
No.
And then you knew he was coming down with it. There were two guys right there, right before halftime.
There's going to be guys. There's going to be guys like I'm going to tell you right now. There's going to be guys right there all night Saturday.
Schuler,
Moore, and Gray.
Yeah.
And they're going to. They are locked down, like they're the real deal. Who's the guy they lost last year that was so good at corner?
I can't remember.
Guy, not Watts. Watts was the safety.
Was safety. He was so
they had
good.
A corner. He got hurt. But was still a high draft. They lost. Yep. They lost great players, and they have great. Again, this is the way Notre Dame is recruited under Freeman, especially on defense. So they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem in terms of. They got guys that can cover KC and Mario and others, but Colin Klein's got flexibility where he can move those guys, how he can get them the football. If they're not getting open over the top, you can take the snap and swing it to them. You can, I do think they can get open over the top. I don't care how good the corners are. I think those guys, they're so quick from like me to you that they can stack a corner real quickly. And then in a foot race, no one's catching them. So if you have a step and a half, you're going to keep that. So Marcel just have to be accurate down the field. I don't think you're going to have Aggie DBs running wide open, but I do think it's going to be enough. And it's up to Colin Klein. It's up to Klein and Marcel, Gabe. Like, will Klein dial up the over-the-top shot more than a couple times and consistently do it and almost like risk wasting a down because it's a lower percentage throw, but such a high payoff. And it's a payoff that if you do enough of it early on, you got to, those safeties have to start backing off. And then what does that do for Le'Veon Moss and the guys as the game? So
big key.
It's be
Yeah, it's
really
fascinating
interesting
to
to see how aggressive.
I think
A&M
this
is
quarterback
in
can take that
passing.
shot. I like him as a deep thrower right now. I had the one in the first
He
game.
can do it.
He's got a nice touch to him.
He does. He just
And
got,
you know you got guys who can go get it.
yeah, they've been working on it all offseason. I mean, I've said it all year. This
Yep.
is going to be a much better vertical passing team than they've been.
All
But this is the first real test. This is the first real test.
We have to mention, looking back again for a minute defensively, just something so rare that we got to watch in the start of the second half
Yep.
of that game against Utah State, and that is Cassius Howell. Cassius Howell, back-to-back-to-back sacks is something that I personally don't think I've ever seen. The only thing that kind of came immediately to my mind was how Myles Garrett absolutely abused that UTSA tackle for five and a half sacks in 2016.
That was pretty crazy.
And then Myles goes out, goes back-to-back the very next day for the Browns against Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But we knew this was coming, but what a special moment. Kyle was absolutely in a frenzy when he did that.
It was cool. I happened to be down on that side, so I was looking at it straight at the line of scrimmage, and on two of the three, you knew as soon as the ball was snapped, he was getting a sack. Like, he just got that jump.
Yeah.
Tackle had no chance. And then the other one, he just worked for it. I think maybe it was the first one where he really worked for it. And those other two, when he did the inside move and then blew around him, it just, each play, I think you heard him say, he said he was in like flow state or whatever.
Yeah, it was good.
Have you ever been in a flow state and anything?
Never once in my
I don't
life.
think I have. I don't know what
Brandon
that is.
Leone was good at flowing. I've
Well, that
never
was a
once
different
been in a
kind-
flow state.
That's a different kind of flow. I don't know what, like,
Hey, Gabe Bach
everything-
on radio with 15 hours to kill would have made such a big deal out of flow state. Remember old Gabe? I mean,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have been ridiculous.
you think you would have like rapped
I
and
would have been
misinterpreted what flow
incorrigible
state was?
about flow state.
Yeah,
This
you
time
would.
I just let it go.
Yeah,
we only
you
have an
should.
hour. I'm
Well,
like, all right, I wasn't gonna mention
you're also older. You're just like, oh, whatever.
it.
But
yeah,
but
I don't even know what the hell it means.
those three plays, man, he just got more and more confident. And by that third play, I would have run a draw. Like, you know it's coming. You can't block the guy. Like, run, get rid of the ball or run. It was over before it started. So never seen it. Not from Miles,
No,
not
never.
from Vaughn,
Mm-mm.
not from, Antonio Armstrong, who had, I think, 3 sacks on Aaron Taylor in a Cotton Bowl. That's another one that stood out to
Mhm.
me, speaking of Notre Dame. And not from Keith Mitchell, who led the Big 12 in sacks, or
We called Jacob Green, see if he ever did it.
Jacob probably has never done it, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's
That's right.
on the stadium in Seattle.
Mhm.
It's rare, man. It hadn't been done in college football in 10 years. And people will go, well, it was against Utah State. Every year in college football, there's 200 of these type
Yeah.
games.
Utah State plays 12 games a year.
well,
no
no,
one's ever
but,
done it on them or anybody else.
but every team plays
yeah,
at
cupcakes.
least 2, if not 3 cupcakes, and doesn't even mention what's in conference.
Exactly.
10 years it's never happened. So really impressive. And more importantly, Gabe, like what you saw him do, it plays in South Bend. It plays in the SEC because you saw him do it. He did it against Auburn. He did it against Texas.
Oh, yeah.
He did it against USC. So it translates. It carries over. What he needs is confidence,
Mhm.
and he needed to put that on tape again. So Notre Dame goes, man, we got to watch out for him. Maybe it's a little extra attention on Howell and somebody else capitalizes.
Well, to your point, I watched the next series very specifically. I'm sure you did too. You watched this game way more than I have. And y'all probably talked about this. I
Yeah.
personally haven't heard anybody talk about it. He didn't play the first 2 plays of that next series. I'm like, well, I'd put him back out there see if he gets 4 and 5.
Yeah, right.
He comes in for the 3rd and long, and Scooby gets the sack.
Yeah.
So to your point,
Yeah.
oh man, we got to chip this cat, and then Scooby comes in and gets the sack.
Yeah, I mean, they're everybody.
That's impact.
Everybody benefits.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
for A&M, I watch Bain, they don't have anybody like Bain that Miami does. That dude's a freak. That dude, I think he's a first rounder, but Cassius Howell might be a second rounder.
Well, if we're not D-line Elko was talking about that, then they might be.
Yeah.
They've been putting them out.
I think, I don't know this, but I think the reason Elko probably said, well, because he probably immediately thought there's a team in Athens that has kind of spit D linemen out, and now they're out there spitting on everybody too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they don't have a guy like Bain. They don't have a guy like Bain, but I think A&M's pass rush against that Notre Dame O-line can be a real problem. It can be a game-changing problem, advantage A&M, if and only if you put C.J. Carr and Notre Dame behind the chains. Last year, A&M could not get them behind the chains. And I thought the D-line actually played a pretty good game. It wasn't like they weren't getting shoved off the ball. Notre Dame popped a couple of long ones, and that was the difference. But they never – I said it after that game. I felt like the defense was on its heels. Notre Dame was always pushing forward. Riley Leonard just worming his way for 3 yards. Riley Leonard scrambling for 5. Riley worming his way for 3.5 on first down. They just stayed ahead of it the whole game.
Mm-hmm. Let them try to do that with CJ.
They've got to stop that this year. And if they do, you put these guys behind the chains, you can get after them.
You worry about CJ as a runner?
Yeah, I do.
It wasn't bad against Miami, but I didn't expect him to be Riley.
No. Riley was here's to me where Riley was different. It's just understanding how to get what they needed. CJ Carr is more like frenetic, frantic, almost like not scared, but like he's sped up still. And later on, that'll be less. But right now, he's sped up still. Mm-hmm. So that can be bad, but it can also be good because he's playing at like 100 miles an hour once he gets going.
Yeah, he really is. All right, a big negative we got to hit. Get gashed again on the first play of the second half.
30 yards.
And don't think for 1 minute that if we get the ball first, I'm not worried about that to start the next with Love and Price and company.
I'm going to be worried about that every time those guys touch the ball. So
I know, but what's your level of concern about that's back-to-back? Is it a coincidence? Obviously, it's something they're going to focus on.
I think it's a coincidence. I think because there's two completely different stories. On one of them, you had an experienced guy come in and line up wrong. Mm-hmm. And then here's the other thing. They completely shut down UTSA in the second half. Running the ball, completely choked it off. I think that guy Henry had 5 yards after that play.
Definitely.
And on Saturday, I don't know if they were lackadaisical because it was Utah State. I don't know if Utah State just saw something. Hey, we could pop this, but 105 yards on two plays to open the third quarter ain't good. I'm not worried about. I shouldn't say this. I'm not worried about the opening play of the third quarter. I'm worried about Utah State popped a couple. There was only like 1 or 2 runs that they popped. I'm worried about UTSA popped several. So look, man, run defense is a real concern for me until we see it different. And what the beauty of it is, though, if A&M goes up there and bottles this thing up, we're going to come back going, if that was their biggest weakness and the biggest concern entering the season, and they went up there and they stopped the run, they got after Carr, and they beat Notre Dame, then how do you feel about what is left in front of you? Yeah. The whole thing changes, not just in terms of the national narrative, but I think with people that know this football team. Because anyone that knows this football team is like, well, we gotta wait and see how they do when they're thrown in the fire against a team that can line up with a bunch of big NFL linemen and some NFL backs and just run right at you.
Because then you fear Auburn will do the same thing. Yeah. But if you have success against this team and you have 2 weeks for the Tigers coming in here, War Eagle, you feel really good about that. Yeah. Building on that. This is such a huge litmus test.
For sure.
I think it's as simple as have the best quarterback in the game, get 15-plus touches out of Casey and Carver. It's just about players as much as it is plays or more. Get it to the players. And then I'm not even saying 100 yards. Like, I'll take 149 or less.
I mean, hell.
For those two back. Would you? Right now, if I told you 149, that's what they got. Under 150 combined. Look,
If
we've
you
seen
told- if you
200
told
plus
me-
in a
if you-
quarter from Hansborough.
Yeah.
Like we've seen
I'm
some.
gonna say if you told me like 130, I might. But
Okay.
but realistically, yeah. But here's the thing: that when you say that, what if everything I said is not true, and they do just okay against the run, they contain it, but they they don't have a great day. But what if A&M were to go out there and win a 31-28 type game? You put up that many points on that defense, and Miami beat them, what was it, 28-27, 27-26?
Yeah.
I think it was 27.
27-24.
20. Oh, it was a tie game going to over. So if they do that, just score a little more than Miami did, how are we feeling even then about the rest of the way? If you say, well, this offense just put up 30 on the road against one of the, at worst, 3 best defenses you're going to face. Probably at worst.
Look, I'm just a fan these days. Were we not the SEC scoring leader in SEC games last year?
In
I think
SEC
we were.
games. And by the way,
With a
that
much more
includes
explosive team.
that includes a shutout, Texas.
And half the season, no Le'Veon Moss, your best player.
Yeah, so
We're capable of going up there and winning a 40-35 kind of game.
I'll tell you what,
it.
if they score 40 points against that Notre Dame defense on the road, I don't even have to know what Notre Dame's defense will be the rest of the season. I know Freeman. I know their roster. If A&M scores 40 on them, then I think I would expect A&M to get into the college football playoff this year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Because
not
if they can
predicting
do that, then I know. But if they can do that, then. But to me, even if it's 30, Gabe,
Yep,
I would feel so much different. Like, okay, Auburn, and they spread you out, and they can run, and they got those receivers in Jackson Arnold. But if A&M has to, they'll outscore them. Taylor Green looks good with Arkansas, what they're doing. Missouri's offense looks good. If A&M has to, they can outscore those teams. That's how I would feel if they have a good offensive game on Saturday. Oh, Mississippi State wants to come in with Shapin and Brennan Thompson and what's
Evans.
his name? Mike Evans.
Evans. I don't know.
What's his first name? But
He's
anyway,
good though.
from San Antonio, went to Georgia, was a guy A&M wanted. I didn't think it was a big loss when he went there. He's a good player for them, but if you go, I would be like, okay, I'll take this Aggie
Anthony
defense.
Evans,
Anthony Evans. I'll take this A&M defense to keep getting better. If it's slow in coming, I still feel good about the Aggie because this offense can carry them for a while. If they do that on Saturday, that's a big if.
It is Notre Dame week, and I couldn't care less. This show is not going to end without hammering on something, or at least spending a minute on something that was really special on Saturday, and that is Wesley Watson running down there on the all 12th man kickoff team. A guy who's born and raised here. His dad is one of your close buddies. I've known Matt for 20-something years.
It's funny you bring this up.
The long and winding road back here, and he's not even a defensive player. He told Elko he's never had a tackle in his life. And he goes down there and just pummels the guy on the all-12. How special was that?
It's funny you say that because Steve and I went and worked out before breakfast, before the show this morning. I go in there and literally an hour and a half ago saw Watson in there on the
Matt or
treadmill.
Wesley?
Matt. So we were talking about this very topic, and he was
awesome.
Smiled ear to ear when I brought it up. So yeah, that was cool. That was super cool. And I've known Wesley since he was, like we always joke, terrorizing our neighborhood, him and his brother, Wyatt. So they were running around.
I mean, it just matters so much to a guy like that. It's going to matter so much to Hunter McKinney.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if that sucker doesn't get on the field at some point and just bust people up because the care factor's so high. And congrats to Steve and Seth and everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool.
Hunter, cool moment for Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, cool doesn't even begin to describe it. I think it's like a lifelong dream achieved and getting the chance to come here. And then we actually, same thing. We're in the gym the other day with Jim Turner, and Jimmy T thinks Hunter will end up being a real player. He just needs,
seriously,
he's just a little behind your normal A&M O-line recruit in terms of his development, like physically and but he's already 305 pounds as senior in high school. He's going to be he's going to be one of those guys that's he's coming in and have a chance to play down the road.
Yep. Well, listen to what Jimmy T said, because he called not terribly long ago, 15 years ago, and told Mike Sherman he's got a guy in Galveston. He's a pretty good basketball player. by the name of Mike Evans. So
Turner
listen up.
knows. Turner,
Yeah, he
you
does.
know, everybody misses. Turner misses less than everybody else.
Yep. All right, Billy, let's shift gears and we'll come back to this game and close it out. Buy, sell, or rent.
Okay.
Presented by the ARIA. Luxury condos in College Station. In fact, I'm meeting an investor right after this show at the ARIA. This is a fantastic opportunity here. Formerly Gateway Apartments, back when you were running the show. Sterling, remember?
Yeah.
They totally beautified this place. You'd be shocked.
I saw some.
Luxury
You showed
condos.
me some of the pictures, the renderings.
Yeah, but we're selling every single unit in there over the next 3 years. Get it on early bird pricing, though, now. Gabe at BachRealtyGroup.com will set up a time to tour the ARIA condos in College Station. All over the SEC, Billy, can be a player, can be a team. Who are you buying most right now when you look at what's happening through the first 2 weeks?
Out of all of college football.
No, SEC.
SEC, who am I buying? After this week, I'm buying. This is going to be a buy, and this is going to be one for this week in particular. I'm buying Diego Pavia, and I'm buying Vandy. Not as a title contender.
National title contender.
But I am buying them as they can go into Columbia, South Carolina, and upset the Gamecocks. I think South Carolina's won like 7 in a row over them, and that doesn't seem. By the way, I heard some Longhorns the other day. I was watching something, and I was watching like one of Amanda's first shows with them. So I was watching. She had got kind of through our podcast, got that opportunity. So just supporting her, watching it, and they were saying, breaking down the A&M schedule, like they just can't get over the hump against South Carolina. I don't see them breaking that. And it was one like, has it been 9? Was it 9? And then they've played them for like 10 years. I think it's 8-2.
We lost twice over there.
Up there,
back-to-back.
The last 2 games up there, and
never lost here to them.
Never lost here, and with an ass kicking of them in between, like 2 years ago. So I don't. Anyway, but South Carolina has owned Vandy.
Yep.
And I'm buying Diego Pavia. That second half, what they look like against Vatech, a Vatech team that Sellers in South Carolina had a tough time pulling away from, and South Carolina had a rancid first half. Can I take you? You know what else I'm buying? A&M fans would have melted down.
How'd that go again?
They would have melted TF down had the Aggies been up 14-3 over Austin P at halftime Georgia was. And they would have melted down.
Doesn't Kerbo do this every year, though?
I think it looks a little different to me this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might still go beat Tennessee. But melted down had it been – they would have melted down had it been A&M 14-0 or 14-3 over South Carolina State with about a couple minutes or two left in the half, where your quarterback, if it were Marcel Reed, was 2 of 8 for 20 yards.
Pretty clunky.
Right before halftime.
Yep, pretty clunky.
Pavia.
Well, yeah.
Pavia, Clark Lee, and Vandy going up there. I'm buying.
I love that. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of a shorter Johnny. I mean, it's just it's the absolute confidence to rise the entire program and say, get on my back.
Yeah.
I love what this cat's about, man. He's so good.
I said before the year they're going to beat somebody.
Yep.
Somebody highly ranked. I don't know if it's going to be them. I don't know if they're going to go into Austin and do it. They're going to clip someone highly ranked.
I mean, we don't look at QBR is not everything, but he's third right now, and Sellers is second from the bottom. Kind of clunky. Think about South Carolina State. They returned 2 punts for a touchdown. Last time I remember that happening was Dustin Harris here, Johnny's Heisman year.
Was that against South Carolina State?
Yeah, it was. Returned 2 punts for a touchdown at Kyle Field. So without that, I mean, they win, but it's even worse looking.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe Sellers puts up more yards because he lost 2 possessions. Nonetheless, though, it wasn't good. He's supposed to be the best one going, possible top 5 pick.
Yep.
And I'm all in on it.
I am too. I am too. And I'm not out on him, but this week I think Pavia he ends up being the story.
I'm going to tackle a guy. I'm going to tackle Drake's quarterback for a second. I'm buying Purbuell.
Drink. I thought you said Drake's. Who's
Your guy
Drake?
Drinkowitz. I'm gonna go ahead and buy Bo Prabula
He's looked good
right now because he was a 74% passer in backup of Drew Allard, who got banged up a couple times last year, and they were a good team. He had a couple high leverage moments, like oh shoot, Prabula. Now Mizzou gets him. Now he's the guy over there. He's been really good. I watched almost that entire Kansas-Missouri game, and they hate each other.
Yeah.
Right. I was fired up to watch it. He was 30 of 39, 334, and 3 touchdowns. 80% passer so far.
Really good.
He's a good quarterback, man. And here's what I'm buying. It's a great league for the quarterbacks. Right. This year's a great year for it. I think he's top half. That's what I'm buying. Yeah. Not the best. He's top half.
I agree with you, and that makes that Missouri game. If I'm talking about games that got scarier last weekend, it was Missouri and Mississippi State, particularly Mizzou because it's on the road, and particularly Mizzou because they're coming off 10-3. Mississippi State's coming off 2-10. They got a lot longer to go, but those two look tougher. And then look, Florida not so much, and I think South Carolina not so much. And I'm not saying like Sellers and the Gamecocks don't scare you. That's going to be tough. I'm just saying if I'm moving the target each week, kind of where I see it. Those look tougher. Those other two go okay.
So who are you selling then?
I'm selling. I'm selling. I mean, we all are. We're all selling Florida.
Yeah.
I'm selling Florida, Napier.
Yep.
How
can you not?
I don't want to sell Lagway because I think if you sell Lagway, you're going to get beat by him at some point. Whether that's somebody, he's going to beat somebody where you go, man, if it wasn't for that guy making every freaking play, we win that game. Somebody's going to be feeling like that.
Yep.
But it ain't going to be enough to save Napier's job. I'm selling that team. I'm selling him. I don't even know if he's coaching when they come here in a few weeks. How does that place tolerate, if they get blown out by Miami, LSU, and Texas, and with Texas being at home, that feels like almost a time that you might can him. Or
if it's inevitable, why isn't it?
Or it might be when Mike Elko and the Aggies need to handle business and end that thing once and for all.
Probably should. He'll be on the ropes by then for sure, based on their schedule. And it is inevitable because you don't want, and here's the narrative in Gainesville right now, he's going to waste the Lagway era. Like you get this guy who's so good and so talented, one of the best quarterbacks you've had in 15 years.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're going to waste
the era. The era is going to be over after this season because somebody wrote the other day that's going to be the biggest free agent in maybe in the NIL era.
Yeah. He's a $10 million quarterback, man.
Crazy.
There's no doubt about it. But you're right. It's at LSU. Now it's crazy things happen in that one, so I'll have my eye on it. But it's at Miami, Texas, A&M, Mississippi State, and then Georgia in the cocktail party. Maybe they lose them all.
Maybe they'll leap up and get Texas.
I'm with you. I'm rooting for that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, they just are poorly coached. It was sloppy. It's not like you just lose to a pretty good USF team. Like they may be the 5th conference champion. They may get in the playoff.
Yeah.
They look like the best team going in that 5th conference champion race.
Crazy. They still got to play Miami. They got UTSA. I haven't looked at the rest of their schedule, but I'm sure there's some challenges there. But yeah, it's not like. But it is embarrassing.
Yeah, Goulash is making money.
Goulash. It is embarrassing though. You're in state school and you lose. It's like saying, like A&M and Texas never want to say that. They lose to Texas Tech, Baylor. You don't want to lose to these TCU. You don't want to lose to these teams like South Florida. Yeah. If they have a full come up, they can become like a TCU, right?
But they're not because you're undisciplined. You do it because you snap the ball over the punter. You do it because you spit on a guy in crunch time.
Yep, and that's
a shoe, you get fired.
That's how you get fired.
Right.
This guy's got a shoe throwing, a spit.
Well, shoe was Mullen. He got canned.
Oh, that was their great year. Yeah.
We don't recruit until off season. Gone. They'd love to have Mullen right now, wouldn't it?
How many people did he claim was here that game? 90,000?
Yeah, he did. COVID. That was the beginning of the
He had a wild run that year. But yeah, I mean, Florida's been in a spin cycle. We were talking about the other day with somebody like, how many coaches have they had? Let's say they fire Napier and go interim. Well, not even interim. Say they have to hire a new. So in 14 years in the SEC, they'll have the new guy. They'll have Napier. They'll have Mullen, McElwain,
Muschamp,
the
Zucker.
5 since A&M's been in the SEC.
Yeah, that's
14 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Think we go
A&M,
through coaches.
A&M is on coach 3, and he's in year 2.
Exactly.
They're ready to go into coach 5
Yep.
in 14 years.
The hardest one for me every time is the rent category. This is one I'm kind of dipping my toe in this, but I don't want to go all in yet.
Yeah.
With this team or this player. Who's your rent?
I'm renting John Mateer in OU. I know everybody else in the country bought him.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm renting him, but here's why. I'm buying him as a baller.
Yeah.
I'm buying him as a Texas fans. They have no idea what's coming. They're not worried at all, it seems like, about John Mateer and OU. I went from thinking that Texas is going to roll in that game to thinking OU beat them. Like, what I saw from that OU defense, they were resetting the line of scrimmage against Michigan. They made Underwood look like the freshman that he was. He looked rattled. He was not really a threat to do much of anything. And then Mateer, some of the plays and throws he made, the guts he shows, he does remind you he's got that Johnny, that Baker. He's just got that, you talk about Pavia, but he's got that.
Yep.
Just everybody's going to want to rally and play.
Like Baker, I think he plays at the next level.
And Jim Nagy was telling me and Jacob Hester that this summer at SEC Media Days. Like, man, he's just, he's only been there this so long. And when recruits come in, he's the guy, and he's got that it to him.
Yep, he's making Ben Arbuckle an NFL offensive coordinator. Is what he's doing.
Well, or a college football head coach,
right?
At a really young age. But
that's right.
But and they beat the brakes off of Michigan. I don't think Michigan's that good. That's why I am in a rent.
I hear you.
Because here's the deal. I think Oklahoma's significantly improved. I think they've got their quarterback position figured out. But here's why I'm renting. Because everyone else in the country now has him top of mind Heisman. They've got OU. Every playoff mock bracket you have has OU in it now. That's where I'm tapping the brakes a little bit. Because, I do think they're a much bigger threat to Texas. If those two teams played this Saturday, I think Oklahoma, you might call me crazy, I think OU would be favored. I mean, if you're really trying to figure out who wins that football game, I think I would put my money on OU if they played now.
Yeah, put a 2.5-point spread on it. Watch the numbers come in.
Now, with that said, I think OU, Mateer, even against Michigan, and they lost a lot off that defense, but you watch Michigan play, they still play good defense, but he threw a pick, he should have thrown a minimum of 3. There was one the guy caught, it bounced off his hands, and he almost couldn't. There was another one that looked like Michigan was going to pick it. He threw one in the opener against Illinois State. Should have thrown 3. Because now when I'm grading and why I'm renting, I'm buying them as a significantly improved team. I'm renting them as a playoff team because that's where everybody has pushed them to after 1 week. Because that's what we do early in the season.
By the way,
they show every great throw by him. They didn't show the 3 or 4 that could have easily been picked.
How do you not get an NIL deal if you're in Norman, Oklahoma, and your last name's Arbuckle?
Yeah.
Remember the
Arbuckle Wilderness?
Oh, yeah. Place of beauty, right?
I mean, I don't know how much NIL money that place has to throw around. Maybe they do. Maybe that land.
Oh, that land's worth.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it might be like
some
fracking
sacred
on
land
that stuff.
Yeah,
but so
absolutely. Davis.
Yeah, I went to that Arbuckle Wilderness after A&M lost 77-0. We're driving back the next day, and I'm like, you know what? I was writing a cover story in the back seat of a little car. And I saw that sign. I go, you know what? Pull over. What? I go, we're going.
Oh, man.
I got
Liucci in a nutshell.
I'm going to enjoy this. And we went through the drive-through safari.
I don't think that's the first time or the last time you've been.
And Logan and I went.
Yeah.
Logan and I went. Logan got scared of an ostrich.
Oh, yeah. Well, ostriches are dangerous.
Well, they get their head into that car. And
they want that food.
By the way, I had a buddy. I want to save this really for Steve and Seth, but I had a buddy that shot a buffalo this week in Colorado. Where do we come off on? I mean, now buffalo's great meat, first of all. So
like those wings.
Anytime you're hunting and you can eat, anytime you're hunting and you can eat, you justify it. Yeah. My thing is like, what's the sport? I just saw 9 jillion buffalo in Wyoming. what's the sport of shooting a buffalo? It's like, to me, it's about akin to shooting a cow. Like, they just sit there and graze.
It's not like
now, if you want to hit one as they're running across, from far away, and you maybe hit a running 2,000-pound animal, like that's like that hunting game.
Particularly
big
if they're
buck
headed
hunter.
to you. Yeah.
But like, yeah, these things are just sitting there eating grass, and you can literally walk up to where where this camera is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do at Yellowstone. You ever seen those highlights?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
they're all not from America.
Right.
Because for some reason, I guess they don't have buffalo in some other countries, but they come to Yellowstone and think somehow
they're docile,
that they can get up and treat them like it's a pet. Like you wouldn't even approach a stray dog as close as these people approach these buffalo.
Yeah.
And they get attacked all the time. You would think they would see the video, but they go up there with cameras and they're like, I don't understand.
Does word not make it back home that you shouldn't be doing
I don't know if they're from Asia or France. I saw a ton of French there, and some of them are getting so close, getting out of their cars, and when you're sitting there, you're like,
you weren't far. I looked at the video.
Yeah, but we were in a vehicle.
Okay,
I didn't get out. I got out for the bear, but I didn't get out for. And I still wasn't. I wasn't 12 feet away.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Go watch it anyway.
Well,
shooting a buffalo.
Will tell you, buffalo give you a lot of meat when you need it.
Yeah, but shooting one from, it's like there's one that's eating grass, or there's one that's taking a nap. Bam.
Well, I'll tell you what else I like to stay far away from most of the time. That's a razorback. But if I'm renting, give me Arkansas for a minute. I'll tell you how. Okay, they hadn't played anybody yet, but I'll tell you what they do have, and that's a quarterback.
Yeah,
we saw it in phases last year. He was with Genty. What if he had not left? How good would they have been last year?
Yeah,
still made a playoff. He's a 4-year starter. He's 6'6". He's 224 pounds. He's got 10 touchdown passes.
It's a problem.
He's run for 200 yards.
It's a problem.
He's like, tell me this guy's not a prospect. Like, how is he not? He throws bombs. He runs like Lamar Jackson. He's 6'6".
And he's got a really good coach in Bobby Petrino. But why don't you pull up their non-conference schedule last year?
Oh, yeah. Last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I heard the same thing last year. And
beats up on little guys.
I heard the same thing last year, and everybody was doing the same thing that they're doing this year.
I'm renting.
And I get it. I don't disagree with you. They look better. You just go off what does it look like. It looks better. But look up who they played last year.
All right.
And they didn't play Utah State. They played Alabama A&M.
Aggies.
They played. Are they the Aggies too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think so.
So A&M will probably schedule them next year.
No, they're not the Aggies.
I was about to say, because we did the New Mexico State Aggies, the Utah State Aggies.
No.
They played Alabama A&M, and then they played Arkansas State, which is not the
08 Arkansas
it's
State.
Not Gus Malzahn, Arkansas State. It's not
or that team that came in here
it's
with
not Tom Herman, Arkansas State.
Jabari McClendon, and just threw all the day on us. And
the Aggies
picked
lost.
McGee off 4 times. That was my first job with TexAgs.
They picked McGee off 4 times?
In the second half.
All right, McGee. Do we have to do a film room on that?
I hate to admit it, but it happened.
Really?
I'll never forget. I pulled an all-nighter writing about that stuff.
I remember Gerard having a rough go against FIU.
Yep.
But then Cyrus and C-Mike bailed you out.
Didn't we find out T.Y. Hilton was on that team?
And Cristobal. Yeah, but I mean, still though, what was their record that year?
But yeah, and then Arkansas State's no good. I got last year's schedule. He dominated. I mean, dominated Arkansas Pine Bluff. Yeah. And then he dominated Oak State. When the last minute they were ranked ever in the Gundy era. They'll never be ranked again until they fire him too. And then it was UAB with Dilfer. That was an overtime game.
Yep, that wasn't pretty.
And then Auburn, who stinks, and then A&M he was pretty good in. And then they played
he was not good
later.
in A&M.
Well, we pressured him a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, they got to him. He didn't do much. He had a deep ball early in the game.
That's right.
Where he eluded a blitz. Should have been a sack, and it was a 75-yard touchdown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But,
that's
right. Look, I wouldn't want to play Arkansas this weekend. I think they got a lot of confidence, and guess what? I think they're going to beat Ole Miss. I think they're going to go into Oxford and beat Ole Miss. And Austin Simmons was banged up last week.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 2 picks. They weren't that impressive against Kentucky. So I think you're on a pretty good rent right now with that
It's
one.
Ole Miss on the road at Memphis, who's always kind of dangerous. Not as good now, I don't think. Notre Dame at home at Tennessee before A&M goes to Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I can see that being a 4-2 team.
Hopefully they get beat up a little bit for
Yeah.
A&M. We're looking for the Aggies here. Like,
Yep.
I'd rather them lose to Ole Miss, Arkansas, Notre Dame and Tennessee. But I think they get one of those three, and I think it's this weekend.
All right, couple quick hitters, questions from X and our listeners. Okay, we call it from section 12, and then we'll do Easton's Corner, and then we'll close this thing out with circling back to Notre Dame. My man, iDoc Mike, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
What consensus overreaction after 2 weeks do you think will remain true after September? Have you seen a surprising team in college football that has real staying power as we move forward in 2025?
For this season or as a program?
Overreactions that you think will remain true when the calendar turns to November after 2 weeks.
Damn.
You're like, that's an overreaction, but I actually believe it.
Let
me give you mine. What do you think?
Yeah, do that.
Florida State. Here's where it is. They're miles ahead of where they were.
Oh, for sure.
DJ versus Tommy C.
Mm-hmm.
All the portal additions. They've been hitting on some portal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Noles, they play Miami October 4th. At worst, they may be a one-loss team going to Clemson in November. That's where I think that has staying power.
I don't disagree with you on that one. I'm trying to think if there's another one. I think it might be, and they'll get a little test in a couple weeks, the bye week, because I might go to this game. It might be TCU for me. In the Big 12, I think there's some fraudulent teams in the Big 12. I like their quarterback. I like, the type players they traditionally recruit. They took a step back a couple of years here since that national title game berth. I just think they have staying power as a team that could end up in the playoff as the Big 12 champion. I am not buying Arizona State. I think they're way down.
Yep.
I think
K-State's down.
K-State might be done. Kansas, I think, is just they're a tough team to play, but they're not. I don't think they're going to make any kind of move. I said TCU. I'm gonna change that on you.
Well, I think TCU is a good pick, but is there another?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in that same conference. I think Iowa State has staying power.
Man, I agree.
Matt Campbell, I like him more than I like Sonny Dykes. Matt Campbell, and they've already got, I think, two. They beat K-State. That's not as impressive anymore after what happened with Army, but they won a conference game in Ireland, which is real weird and tricky.
Yeah.
And then they came back, and then they beat Iowa at home. So I'm going to go Iowa State.
Hey, Rocco Beck's legit, man.
Yeah, that's the other reason. He's a stud.
It's a stud quarterback. It's so fun to watch.
Stud quarterback, stud coach.
Yeah.
Program that has proven they can do it in on that level anyway. So I'll go with that.
All right, 10 seconds about Hoover, Sawyer Robertson, or Baron Morton if you had to win one game.
Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah.
I think he's a freaking dog. And when I was talking about TCU and Hoover, I was thinking in my head, man, Sawyer Robertson's freaking good.
He is.
I would almost make a Heisman bet for him. I don't think Baylor can win enough games. Like, he does. Like, they'd have to go, in my opinion, they'd have to be in the playoff. They'd have to win the Big 12, be in the playoff. I don't think they'll get there because of their defense. But that dude's going to put up. I wish you could make. You probably can. I'd like to make. If you could make a bet that he would be in New York, I could see that.
Wow.
Because I think he's going to put up pinball numbers this
it's
year.
Like when I bet
playing for his OC.
That's when I had John Lopez, who was in Vegas, literally put a bet in for Trace McSorley. We'll see if it works out better for you than it did for me. That shows you how big an idiot I am. Some guy named Saquon was in the same backfield.
Trace McSorley.
I'm like, let's go Trace after
he's
that
still in the NFL.
Rose Bowl. Is he?
I think he is.
That's wild. All right, from James, other than Napier, who's the next SEC coach fired? Is it Sammy Mammaries or somebody else?
It's either Pittman or a wild card that everyone acts like won't get fired. It could be Mark Stoops.
Dude, I'm thinking so. That's crazy. Here's where it started going downhill. The 1 hour he took the A&M job.
Yeah. No, he was going downhill before that.
Yeah,
That was why it was such a problem for everybody.
Wow, that's a wild one. All right, Easton's Corner. You ready for
Let's
this?
go.
He's got a good question for you.
Hang on, mute us real quick.
Yeah. We'll
Water!
Easton goes long enough for you to get Billy a water.
Hang on, let me get mine.
This is a weekly take for my soon-to-be 13-year-old Easton Bock. And a question.
Hang on, don't talk yet. We haven't. He's
for Looch.
got us on pause.
You know?
Okay.
All right, there you go. All right, here we go. This is Easton's Corner.
I
and a
guess it's
question
live.
for
We don't
Looch
have
at
pause
the
anymore.
very end. Exactly.
This is Easton's Corner, and we got a big one this week. Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. It's going to be a great game because the thing that they do best is running the ball, and the thing that we haven't done so well is run defense. So the way that they're going to score as an offense is going to be the running because C.J. Carr is their quarterback, and they don't know a lot about C.J. Carr. They're not going to be testing it against our corners and safeties that we have, our DBs back there. They wouldn't try to test that. And our run defense, so they're just going to keep running the ball. And there we're scouting UTSA. They scouted Utah State. Our run defense was terrible. Gave up 172 rushing yards against UTSA. But Utah State, totally different story. In the third quarter, their total rushing yards was -2. Mostly because of Cassius Howell. What a football player. 3 sacks in a row to end a drive. Myles Garrett only had 2, and he said he was trying to do the best Cassius Howell impression. I mean, man. That defense just like that is crazy. And if we can keep that run defense going, it's going to be great. Now let's just talk about the offense. Now that we know that Marcel Reed is fine and he's going to play against Notre Dame, that's Marcel Reed, Ruben Owens, and Le'Veon Moss at the running back. We have Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. Maybe the opposite. According to the past 2 games, Mario Craver's won. But we already know Casey Concepcion. Casey Concepcion won, Mario Craver 2. Ashton Bethel-Roman did not play great against UTSA, but Terry Bussey played awesome. So I think our wide receiver number 3 right now is Terry Bussey. So that's great to know that we have to work with Ashton Bethel-Roman because he's only a freshman. Terry Bussey, sophomore. Mario Craver, sophomore. Casey Concepcion, junior. And Ashton Bethel-Roman, freshman. A bunch of young guys out there just balling out. And we have 2 young quarterbacks in Marcel Reed and Miles O'Neal. Marcel Reed played great, and Miles O'Neal played great because he had 2 dots. The only problem was one of them was right to the defender. That defender was wide open. He threw it right to him. And he found Mario Craver downfield for like a 75-yard touchdown to get him over 100 yards again. And that leads me to my question for you, Billy. Do you think Mario Craver will have more than 100 yards receiving against Notre Dame for the 3rd straight week? That's all I have.
What do you think? Easton likes his hot sports opinions.
Yeah, and it's a great question. And I like those numbers on that rushing defense. And I think if you take away that, it doesn't matter, Gabe. It doesn't matter anymore, like how they played the run against Utah State and UTSA. It just doesn't. It matters how they tackle Love and Price and Carr. But I think while we're talking about that, I think a low-key thing to keep an eye on is, are they going to throw at these A&M corners? Will Lee got beat a couple times down the sideline there for some big plays.
Low-key kind of worried about Will Lee.
I am too. And I've seen enough to know he's better than what he's played. So I don't know if worry is the right word, but I do think Notre Dame, I'm looking at this and I go, I'm going to test him. I really think if it's Auburn, and he better, be ready to play at a different level in a couple weeks when those receivers come to town.
Yeah.
Coleman, Singleton, the whole bunch. But as far as A&M playmakers, Beaston, I think I'm going to cheat on this answer and say I don't know if Craver goes for 100, but I think one of the 2 guys will. I think Craver or Concepcion, who he also mentioned as obviously a big time threat. I think one of those 2 guys goes over 100, and I think the other one makes a big play, possibly even a touchdown. So I think more of the same from those two against much tougher competition. So we're talking about, like, I know people will go, not people, some people are out big bold predict. It is. Because Notre Dame's not going to get cooked by many receiving duos. And I think they're still going to do well this week, even though we've only seen them play two pretty bad defenses in UTSA and Utah State.
All right, let's look at some upset alerts real quick, and then we'll go back to – thank you, Easton. That was good. We'll go back to A&M Notre Dame. But Georgia on the road, a 3.5-point favorite against Tennessee. Florida, a 7.5-point dog on the road at LSU. Crazy things happen in this game. You've got, like you said, Arkansas, a 7.5-point favorite on the road against Ole Miss, and you've got Vandy, who you've already picked. So
well,
take
you know
them
the
out.
two I like.
Yeah.
So we already tackled those.
Do you see any other upsets here? You got Florida at LSU.
No,
a dog.
I don't see
I don't
that.
either.
I do.
LSU big in that one.
I do think I'm really intrigued by Georgia and Tennessee.
I'm picking the balls in that game. They look good early.
They do against Air.
Well, it's a good time to get the dogs, I think.
Yeah, I like they do against Air. Georgia doesn't against Air. So,
yep.
From that standpoint, I know. Here's where Tennessee would have a problem. I think if they were playing a team with receivers and a downfield passing game, their corners are still. I think they're both still. Their top two are still out. One of them is going to be out for a while, and the other one is out for this game. So I think they're going to have some issues, but I don't know if Georgia and Gunnar Stockton and Noah Thomas and those guys can exploit it. So I think all this stuff from Aguilar and this Tennessee offense, I think Georgia puts a plug in that. But I think, I just think this is going to be a low-scoring game, much like kind of Tennessee and Alabama played last year. Tennessee won it. I'm going to go with I picked Georgia in my weekly the podcast, but I feel like by Friday I might shift that to Tennessee. Yeah. And I almost might go with just strictly the fact that it's Rocky Top.
That's right.
And I've not been a Gunnar Stockton. I'm just not a Gunnar Stockton fan.
No, I agree. And I'd say Aguilar smoke and mirrors for a guy that old who hadn't been great, but it is Heupel. Yeah. He can get the most out of people, which he's done that over and over. All right, sticking on that same theme. Number 11, Clemson at Georgia Tech. They messed around with Troy and almost lost.
Yeah.
You got the Haynes King factor, and I don't really care if he's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got a winner's heart in all of college football, much like this guy. He's going to go out and battle like he's at 200%. And if he's playing, they got the best quarterback on the field in Navy and Gold. Or you got the backyard brawl. Pitt at West Virginia with all these A&M quarterback connections, by the way.
I think Pitt will win that one. Okay. Yeah, you do. You have the commitment and the former player.
And guess who's starting at West Virginia?
Who?
Nico Marchiol, the brother of
Santino. Yeah, wow.
And Jalen Anderson's the backup.
Crazy. That's wild.
His fourth year at West Virginia, he's barely played. Now he beat out Henderson in a Rich Rod offense.
I don't think that's any kind of upset special.
No, I don't either. Go Pitt.
I actually picked Clemson in that one.
Did you?
Yeah, but I agree with you. Like, you're betting against Haynes King, and you're betting on Cade Klubnik against the Brent Key defense. I got a couple picks I might need to revisit.
If I'm pulling a $100 bill out of my own pocket, I'm staying far away from that game. But for fun, give me Haynes King and the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Billy.
Clemson's offense is a problem. And they're playing a good, well-coached defensive team. Like you said, with a quarterback that's very patient and willing to play in a grinded-out football game. I don't think Klubnik's built for that.
If only there were something that you could do to get better in a hurry when you didn't recruit quite to the level that you thought you did. Like maybe a transfer portal or some NIL money. Maybe they'll find a pot of gold.
It's going to be interesting to see Dabo and Clemson this year.
It will. It really will. All right, let's break it down and close it out here. 16th ranked Aggies, 8th ranked Fighting Irish. Give me A&M pulls out this monumental top 10 win. If we hit some of those over-unders on the run game, what you have to do offensively. But let's put a bow on it here. I'm not asking you to pick because you got Friday.
I think A&M wins if Here's what I think, and it all ties into the run. Everything I said.
Yes.
I think A&M wins if two things happen. If Marcel Reed outplays C.J. Carr to where everybody knows it, not like a push is a win for Notre Dame in that regard. If Marcel Reed outplays C.J. Carr, and if Texas A&M wins the big play battle, you got Jordan Faison, you got Great House, you've got
who didn't do much in the first.
You've got Love and Price and Carr versus
all these tight ends.
Reed, Concepcion, Craver. Is it Bethel Roman that makes a big play over the top this week? Do the tight ends catch a half dozen passes for 78 yards? And then I didn't even mention Bussy there either in the return game, but Le'Veon Moss, Reuben Owens, does Amari Daniel? They got weapons, man. So if A&M wins the big play battle and gets better quarterback play, and guess what? Neither one of those two things happened last year, and had they gotten one of those two, they win the football game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, good. Episode 3 in the books, Liucci. Have a ton of fun, man. That's going to be awesome. My buddy, Megan's uncle Mike lives by 5 blocks from Wrigley.
Oh, man.
And it's just unbelievable there. You're going to have so much fun. All right, meet
I've
us
been
right
to
here.
Wrigley once.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, for 2 games.
Slight edge to Fenway, but I love them both. They're both fantastic.
I agree with you on both.
All right, meet us right here, TexAgs.com/live and the TexAgs YouTube channel every Wednesday noon for Looch and Bock, Aggies and Fighting Irish, 6:30 at Notre Dame Stadium. We'll be back next week to break it all down and look ahead to Auburn in late September coming off that bye week. Dig 'em. Let the good times roll. We'll talk to you next week.